Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another BTNeanderthal video. Today, we are making our second coverage on the Diablo 4 quarterly updates. This time, we're talking about the December 2020 quarterly update. And we have it listed right over here on the, what is it, this side. So excellent. Go check it out. So, table of contents, we have introduction, we have skill tree, we got primary stats, weapon types, item qualities, legendary affixes, and uniques. So I believe, going from last time's quarterly update, they said they wanted to talk about itemization this time around. So, let's see how it goes. So, starting here, hello and welcome, once again. The Diablo 4 quarterly update, our last for 2020. Progress on the game continues at a steady clip, and we're excited about several big updates. You know, I read it as bug updates, but anyways, continuing. And revisions that the team has been working on for a long time. We're trying to get complete before the holidays. Yeah, I bet. Because, like, during this time of the year, the holidays, you know, everybody's like, mad rush because it's a huge vacation and everybody's like, I'm going over here, I'm going over there, like nobody's there at work. So today's topics center in major revision, which happens to be the most requested topic this year. Itemization. See, that was right. I remembered something, chat. I remembered. Items are the lifeblood of Diablo, 100%. They are the element of the game that captures your imagination and keeps you playing. I mean, that's what I mean, but paying as well. And wondering, what if, after you put the game down, whether it's anticipated the next piece of perfectly rolled godly gear, or kicking around item combinations in your head like a mad scientist. Speaking of which, 2 days ago, I woke up and realized I was dreaming and theory crafting at the same time. They were the same dream. It was crazy. I was like, oh god, I'm a freaking nerd. Items are undoubtedly a major part of what makes Diablo so compelling and so different from other games. Absolutely. Understanding how important it is to get itemization right, we paid special attention to early player feedback about this part of the game. Good. That's what I want to hear. We know that many more iterations awaited between what we showed you at BlizzCon 2019, our follow-up blogs, and the final game release. We also knew from past Diablo entries that we will need to have the time and resources to make these iterations, thankfully. We have that baked in our current schedule. Great. So they'll have time to make some good changes. Getting all of your feedback encouraged us to move some of that iteration time forward so that we could get our newest direction in front of you sooner. Good. Lead game designer Joey Shilly. Excuse me for my pronunciations. Going to walk us through all of our major itemizations updates today. Great. We've renewed every aspect of itemization from top to bottom and reworked elements that we felt weren't living up to their potential. From the individual stats that our classes tap into the visual representation of items in your inventory. Of course, it's still early and we still have lots more playtesting and iteration to do, but think the direction puts us down a more solid foundational path, and we couldn't be happier to share it with you today. Good. You can keep tabs on what we're doing up to on social media. Good. That's awesome. As always, please tell us what you think of this update on our forums and all your favorite places to talk Diablo. Like here, chat. Like here. Talk about it here. That's something I want to talk about in this stream. So everybody who's here, I would love to hear what you guys have to say on certain subjects during this speech. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, give some comments. Maybe you have some cool ideas that maybe I didn't talk about or chat didn't talk about. Love to hear it, what you have for opinions as well. We'll probably hang out there too, and we'll continue to look out for popular topics to tackle in future blogs. Speaking on which, our next update will take place during BlizzConline. Rather than in blog form. Okay, so it's going to be a BlizzConline. Or BlizzConline? Wait, BlizzConline? Is that a thing? BlizzCon Online? I guess is that what they're calling it now? The BlizzCon Online thing? Just calling it BlizzConline? That's interesting. I don't like how I said. Anyways. So that's cool. It'll be, the next update will be on that. We've read speculation about what it could be. I want to ensure that that it is something chunky indeed. Without spoiling the surprise, let's just say it involves a new version of the campfire scene we showed you at last BlizzCon. Ooh, more characters maybe? That's cool. Thank you all, and see you in hell. See you in hell. Luis Barriga, game director. Awesome, dude. Awesome. Well, that's good. That's a nice introduction. So today we're going to look at some changes to items in Diablo 4 and update you on a few things we've shared in previous development blogs. In deciding what changes to make, we focused on 3 core ideas. First, we want to strengthen class identity by providing intuitive fantasy hooks. Items and skills that lean into the fantasy of your class are best. So class-specific items, I'm assuming something similar to like how they have in Diablo 2. Just first thoughts here of like, you know, Druid has Druid pelts that are on the head. Necromancer has Necromancer shields, etc., etc. Second, we want to support deeper customization through our itemization. Items should support and enhance your class, not define it. Okay, so that's really good because, like in Diablo 3, a lot of your builds are defined by the items that you have, and in Diablo 2, like it shapes your class, right? It enhances your class is what they're saying here. I like that a lot. Finally, we're landing on overall depth somewhere between Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. We aim to provide years of things to discover and countless ways to build classes. Dude, you see that? You see that, bro? They freaking mentioned Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. That's good. I like that. I see that. Since releasing the last quarterly blog post on the skill tree, we've been reviewing all of your feedback. Our team also had a lot of hands-on time with our skill trees and frequent internal playtests, including an extended progression playtest. Based on this, we're confident that it's a solid direction, so we're going to iterate on it and make further improvements. For example, we're increasing the cluster of related skill nodes, so players don't have to go across the tree to find skill upgrades for their builds. Okay, good. So it's like the skill tree kind of has like branches, is what it sounds like, that make more sense than it was in previous iterations. So that's good. Kind of like, you know, you put one point in and there may be a synergy or something very similar that really helps out your current skill in a nearby place. That's good to me. That's good from my from my perspective. The ability to respecialize or respec your skills is a tricky one to balance. Like many of you, we want choices to matter and characters to feel different from each other. Not just one click away from being identical to all the others. We also want to encourage players to experiment with different skills when they start playing and discover builds. Okay, cool, good. In Diablo 4, we will be able to respec your skills and passives. The number of times you can do this will be unlimited, okay? But it won't be free. That's key, okay? Like, I love the idea of, like, unlimited respecs, but I like that it's not free. I like this, but it won't be free. That's big. Putting, like, a lot more weight on the fact of your choices mattering in the long term. It will be easy to do when you first start a character. As your character grows, the effort and cost required to respec will grow too. In the endgame, changing your build will require a significant investment to appropriately match the time and effort you put into defining your character. Damn, dude, so it's like a scaling respec. Interesting. I like this. That's a really cool idea. I like that a lot. Ooh, we got our first GIF, boys. First GIF. Okay. So, at our last blog post, we agreed with your feedback that too much of the character's power came from the items that they wore. And we like the imaginary conjured by the phrases angelic, or the imagery rather, conjured by the phrases angelic and demonic power. But they didn't reinforce the fantasy of being a barbarian, sorcerer, or druid is all about. Okay. So we went with back to our roots and looked at the classic RPG elements of early Diablo games. What are you really doing when you wade through a horde of monsters and emerge a level higher on the other side? You're training, you're practicing a skill, you're getting better at what you do, becoming stronger and smarter. Okay. After gaining a level, our barbarian has received 5 stat points and 2 skill points to spend. So maybe we can like see this closer. Let me see. 1 second, chat. A pega clap. Okay, good enough. There we go. You can see it for now. I will just open this image. So it looks like we have, you just leveled. You got attribute points. Click to spend points. And you get 2 skills. Very simple. Good. When you gain a level, you'll receive points to spend in strength, intelligence, dexterity, or willpower, along with your skill points. Of course, most barbarian builds are going to benefit from a healthy measure of strength, but as you build out your character and decide on skills and synergy, you want to mix it in other attributes. So again, from this image, we have intelligence, willpower, dexterity, and strength. Very similar, like, it feels like very similar to like Diablo 2, but also has like that Diablo 3 feel where, you know, those attribute points are, you know, intelligence is something that's in, you know, Diablo 3, and it feels like an interesting mix. There's basically what I'm saying is there's no like life dump, it looks like vitality in Diablo 2. Looking at that just very briefly, which I think is probably a good thing. When you gain a level, you'll receive points. I already read that. Okay, so then we have this image here. I gotta find out a better system for this. Guess we can just do this. Okay, so what are we looking at here? We got a big ass image. Okay. So we got strength, increases skill damage by X%, increases defense as well, intelligence, increases all resistances. We have willpower, resource generation, improves healing received by X%. Dexterity increases critical strike chance. Improve chance to dodge. Interesting, I like this. Cool system. So these attribute points will like... I like this. Just looking at this immediately, I'm really enjoying what that has to do. Like those, the attributes as they said earlier, like, you know, if you're barbarian, you typically want to put points into strength, and I can see like, why would you want to do that? Because you can increase your defense. You can increase your skill damage. Like while you're up on the front lines, these are important things. Have they released the iterations of the skill tree? Immediately, it doesn't look like it, but we can scroll down and see. I know that the previous quarterly update talked about the skill tree, but it sounded like a work in progress. On this character, what are these characters? Like, does it say right here somewhere what these characters are? Resource generation. Bunch improves. Okay. Yeah, does it say what they are? Oh, we also got scrolls down here. Interesting. And they kind of like went with the same like items as like kind of Diablo 3 a little bit. Kind of cool. Anyways, back to what we were doing here. I like this so far. It looks interesting. I have a little bit difficult time understanding the difference between this character and that character and why these attributes are different, but it looks like maybe the class changes the attribute point allocation a little bit, so that would make sense to me. Maybe I should just read this. As a barbarian, each point of strength will increase your damage. Your skills, willpower will improve your fury, generation, and dexterity grants critical strength. We melt. Yeah, okay, so I guessed right. I'm a freaking forehead, dude. That's me. Meanwhile, as a sorceress, intelligence increases skill damage. Willpower grants critical strike chance. And dexterity hastens mana recovery. Each stat confers secondary. Okay, cool. So I was right when I was talking about that. It just took me a minute to figure that out. Probably should have read the fine print first. You can supplement your character's stat build with items to give you a little more willpower here, a little more strength there, but the vast majority of your stats will come from how you choose to spend your points. Good, so items won't give you like a freaking million attribute points. That's good. That's good, for sure. Because like one thing about Diablo 3 is, like, you have your points into, you know, dexterity as a monk, right? And you put in a bunch of gems, like emeralds and stuff, to boost your dexterity. But even then, like, it's not enough dexterity points because you gotta get ancient items. And then you gotta get, you know, primal ancient items with the right rolls. And you just stack more and more dex. And the dex that you gain from, like, levels is nothing in comparison from the items that you get. So it's just, like, huge amounts. But I'm liking what they have to say there. And here's where it really gets interesting. Many of the nodes in each class skill tree have additional effects. If you meet specific primary stat thresholds. Okay. You'll get the baseline effect of these nodes when you spend the skill points to unlock them. But enough of the corresponding primary stat bonus effect will activate. Hold on a sec, let me figure out what the heck they're talking about here. We got another image here. So we have Fury, it costs X per second. Deals physical damage. Glory Serpent. Arsenal selection. Whirlwind upgrade. Whirlwind restores 1 fury each time it hits an enemy. Cool. Whirlwind no longer slows the barbarian movement. Oh, so like every time you have like... Interesting. You see this? So like you get like a node or like a... some type of... Hold on, let me move my webcam. Bothering me. Okay, so like... You get like a node... right here for every time you put in points into dexterity or strength. And in this scenario, Whirlwind upgrade, Whirlwind no longer slows the barbarian movement and speed while active. It costs 150 dexterity. Whirlwind provides a 3% movement boost each second while active, stacking up to 15%. So it looks like this portion is active, but then this portion right here, if you have X amount of dexterity, you can invest to try to get this. And then it looks like same thing here. Whirlwind provides +1 critical strike per second while active, stacking up to 20. So like, related to the skill, you're getting bonuses based on how you allocate your attributes, which is interesting. That could go really well, or we'll see how it goes, you know. You'll want to think carefully about how to allocate your stat points to activate these effects. Interesting. Let's take a look at it here again. Conjuration, Ice Blades, mana cost, deals cold damage, shield enemies have reduced movement speed. Okay, interesting. Ice Blades upgrade. So increase the summon duration of your Ice Blades by 5 seconds. Ice Blades now emit brief chilling or with each attack. 150 willpower. Ice Blades deal additional damage to frozen targets. Cool. So like it could be a support thing, right? Say you're playing with your team or whatever, and you want to add more willpower into your build, you have this as an optional thing. To do more damage in specific scenarios. I like it. It's a couple decent examples. Now, let's talk items. I like this gift, dude. Look at this guy. Smash the ground and like, kind of like, I don't know. What do you even call that? You freaking rake them? You just like, you bring the rake and then it just like, that's pretty cool. I like that. You dust them. So interesting. As we hinted at in our last blog, we're making substantial changes to core itemization, and this is exactly what I'm super excited about. So let's take a look at this. We'll start by looking at the many different weapons available to classes in Diablo 4. Our weapon types look visually distinct and have meaningful effects on gameplay through features like the Barbarian Arsenal. We've also done a lot of work in the game engine to make weapons feel more real and physical, like the Barbarian carving through the ground with their mace during upheaval. Dude, look at that. That is super sick. I like that a lot. Characters in Diablo 4 use their weapons to perform skills and channel magical power. Something was still missing. Wands should be faster than quarterstaves, and swords, maces should do different things. To see what that feels like in action, we've added weapon speeds and inherent characteristics to all weapons in our latest internal test environment. So we have a rare wand here, and we have a rare staff. So the rare wand Very fast weapon. And looks like 8.5 weapon attack. I'm wondering what these things mean as far as like if you know, spells that you use are based off of the weapon attack or something like that, right? But regardless, you know, very fast weapon and has a critical strike chance. Damage to immobilize enemies, 4%. So it's got like primary attributes, then it's got like secondary attributes similar to like Diablo 3. It's got a durability, that's very important to see, and we got a sell value. And it has like a class, right? It says down there, this is the class. It's a kind of, I kind of like this too. Because it has like, you know, the artistic feel. It says it's a rare wand. Yeah, I just like this. The layout is, it looks clean. I'm liking this. Then we have over here the staff. And the staff has slow weapon. It has resource generation versus critical strike. This is like secondary stuff that's interesting. Because this one has like 8% critical strike chance. Whereas this one just has like immobilize and overpower damage. Interesting. So it's definitely like a different feel here. This one hits harder, but it's slower. This one kind of does things in a quicker fashion. Two different weapon choices for a level 20 sorceress. In general, one-handed weapons excel at letting you attack and reposition quickly, like I was just saying, while slower two-handed weapons deal more damage. You can really feel the differences between them. So yeah, the one-handed stuff, or the one-handed, what was it, wand, and then two-handed staff. But I'm sure the damage that you dealt in this scenario is like a lot more, right? You can opt for a staff to cast more damage, cross bolts, or a wand to channel them more quickly. Interesting. In addition to speed, each type of weapon has an inherent physical characteristic. For shields, this is block value, meaning that any shield you found in Sanctuary is going to have block. In addition to any magical affixes it may have. As physical properties, these traits are consistent across all weapons, same time and cannot be modified. Okay. So right here, I think we're just going to open up this image again. This is like a very small image. One shield block value. Like a buckler, right? This is something you like start off with. That's a white item. Interesting. And then we have a blue magic item. A wand. Weapon attack. Very fast weapon. I'm also like looking at all this, right? Because now we have an actual physical damage weapon here. I'm liking the simplicity right here. Because remember they talked about last time in the previous quarterly update, they talked about making things like easy to learn but difficult to master, and I think this is one of those easy to learn things where it's like we're talking about weapon attacks and simplifying things between the difference of casting and physical attacks. Just simplifying that system is I kind of like that. I think, you know, like the difference between cast speed and increased attack speed, right? Those two things becoming like one thing might be a step in the right direction as far as simplicity's sake goes. We have lifelong kill, damage to elites, critical strike chance. Again, it's one of those fast wands. I'm seeing a theme there, of course. And then over here we got fast weapon. The rare axe, 30% chance to inflict bleed for 30% damage over 5 seconds. Lifelong kill, damage to elites. 8% chance to execute injured non-elites. So, probably like something similar to Diablo 3, where if a monster is like 10% health, you just finish them off. I'm guessing that's what that's what that is. Now, let's go back to this. Physical characteristics of a weapon are shown above, separator in the item tooltips. Example of shield, wand, and axe. You might notice another thing about the items. There are high resolution renders of actual equipment. In a game like Diablo, icons are important. They often contribute as much the identity of a cool piece of loot as the in-game representation on your character. That's something I was mentioning earlier. I really like these little like graphics that they have here. The resolution, high resolution display of the items. I'm really liking that. Items that don't appear. Oh my god. Computer's like, I want to restart and do an update right now. No. Items that don't appear on your character, like rings, are defined by their icons. You've upgraded all of them. Nice. That's cool. So like rings and stuff have their own look. Awesome. Item qualities. So this is a very important thing. Item qualities here. We also made some exciting changes to the game's item qualities. Philosophically, like the clarity of analysis afforded by clearly understood item tiers. In other words, I think players of all skill levels benefit from not having to scrutinize every single item that drops to see if it might be an upgrade for them. Blue magic items are good, but yellow rares are usually better. There's a great feeling of progression when you graduate into items with greater complexity, more powerful effects, and cooler looks as you level up. Now there's something here, I'm going to keep reading, but there's something here in the back of my mind about magics being important still. That's what I'm thinking. And the game-changing powers found on legendary items in Diablo are exciting and offer many possible effects that aren't possible for the regular affixes. Right, exactly. That said, we don't want to end up in a place where the right decision is to ignore every item that doesn't have a glowing orange sky beam. Dude, okay, looking good. So, we're making a lot of exciting changes here. We're increasing the potential power of individual affixes on magic items. Dude, literally tonight, okay, in Diablo 2, when we were playing Project Diablo 2 and we did a slam session, we slammed 6 to poison and, or not poison, 6 to jab and spear skills, blue javelins. And like those are like the best you can get, like as far as the whole game, if you build your character around that. Or like amulets, for example, with magic items, you can get 3 to X. You know, it's like poison and bone skills, you know what I mean? Like, but you can't get 3 on, you know, a rare item or a crafted item or a unique item in these scenarios. So, magic items. So, that's really cool. We're increasing the maximum number on rare and better items in the end game. So, that means you can go rare hunting again. Legendary affixes now roll randomly. Yes, really. Yes, that's exciting. On legendary items and unique items, replace mythics. Magic items can now have the most powerful regular affixes, while rare items get up to 5, and legendary items have 4 regular affixes and 1 legendary affix. Okay, let's take a look at this. This is very important and very exciting. Let me, I'm gonna make myself a little smaller here. Okay, so immobilizing mystical staff. We have resource regeneration. It's a very slow attacking weapon. These are all they are all staffs, right? One's a magic, one's a rare, and one's a legendary. Hit effect is 16.8% chance to immobilize. Empty socket. We have resource regeneration is less, but doesn't roll as high, but we get a bunch of other affixes here. And those affixes, you know, we get more sockets, right? With the rare, we get a little bit lower immobilization chance, but we also get crit strike. We get damage to vulnerable enemies. Like, this is exactly what you're supposed to do when it comes to, like, rare items and magic items. This is exactly what you'd expect, right? Blue is like the best for specific attribute, then yellow has like a more flexible and like tons of different stats on it, but maybe it's not as good as blue. And then legendary has just like different affixes or unique that like impact the gameplay, right? So resource regeneration is not quite as much. You get strength this time. You get overpower chance, which again I don't exactly know what that is. Maybe it was talked about previously, I'm not remembering it. But then chance to immobilize is like half of whatever the blue is. Not quite, but you see what I'm saying here. We have critical strike chance, and we get no sockets here. But knockdown enemies take 46% additional damage from your attacks. So it kind of feeds off of the immobilization effects, right? So I kind of like this. This is sick. That is good. Like, I'm just taking this in, man. Awesome. Anyways, that is like, I really like this. This is good. This is the decision that I'm very happy with overall. And we get to look at legendary affixes. Let's go, dude. Let's go. Okay, legendary affixes. You can think of legendary items as rare items with one affix replaced with a legendary effect. Okay, so it replaces an affix that would have been on a rare item, but replaces it with a legendary affix. Or legendary affix. These new legendary affixes work just like regular affixes in that they can roll randomly on different items and in different slots. Oh my god, dude. So you're just making like, you're making legendaries like rares? Like their own rares. Many can be used by any class, while some are specific to a particular class. That is sick. Okay, let's take a look at this. So we have here, let's actually zoom in on this one. Can we zoom in? Zoom. We have legendary boots, right? We got X amount of defense and elite damage reduction. Control, duration bonus, life regen, movement speed on elite kill. When you stand inside your own damage ground effects, you increase the damage. Wait, when you stand inside your own damage ground effects, you increase the damage they deal by 27%. I think it means it deals, right? Or the damage you deal. Because I don't think you want to debuff on yourself. Maybe it does. Maybe that's why you have damage reduction. But why would you... I don't know. Anyways, we'll move on to the next one. Maybe I'll get a better reference. Um, Dexterity, Intelligence, Thorns, Cold Resist. When you stand inside your own damaging ground effects, you increase the damage it deals by 26%. Okay, and then we have on boots again, your chill effects will trigger freeze faster, but you deal less frost damage. Maximum mana. Dude, look at this. See this? This is the graphic stuff. Dude, this looks cool. This stuff looks cool. Like the boots, the armor. This is so cool. It makes itemization and like the cosmetic portion of it like more interesting. Maximum mana, range damage. Sorcerers only, +1 to rank, ceaseless boats. Your chill effect will trigger freeze 25% faster, but you deal less damage. So legendaries have like a pool of things it can pull from. That's really interesting. It reminds me, if you've ever played Destiny 1 and you like got a, what is that? Fellwinter's Lie, for example, right? It was a shotgun. You wanted like specific rolls on your Fellwinter's Lie to increase your damage, and it was a unique or legendary, exotic, or whatever. It was a legendary weapon or whatever it was, and like you wanted it to roll with specific things, and with things like that, like it's like, oh, what do I get this time? Do I get additional range? Or do I, you know, get additional damage? Then you kind of roll it again. It's kind of cool. Do they stack the same effects? Right. Yeah, if you have a pair of boots and an amulet with the same thing, will it stack? Right. It's a good question. That's definitely a good question. Ring of 3 Curses. Interesting that these have attack too. Right? Maybe it's like some type of stat. I mean, obviously it's a stat, but I'm trying to figure out what the heck, why these would have attack on it. Interesting. Maybe it's like attack rating in some sense, like an offense rating. Anyways, back to what we're doing. Gains a critical strike damage bonus against vulnerable targets. Increases the duration of your defensive skills by 38%. Oh. I like this. So it's basically like... So rares can be sick. With all this stuff being said, right? In the information that they're giving and displaying this. Blues can be sick because if you're looking for something good and you find a specific attribute that you want, it's like those stats are pumped up. So you might want to run a blue in very rare scenarios, but it could be better. But in some scenarios, like wolf, like for example, I'll give you a straight up example right now. You can get a 6 NATO helm, right? With the blues and Diablo 2. And you can get a 5 NATO helm with a yellow. But you'll get like light res or life or strength or something like that as well with it. And then with this, it's like a whole nother thing where, you know, your legendary can drop and it's not the same exact thing every single time. Like, it's like, okay, this legendary staff, does it have, you know, the specific attribute that I want? So it kind of makes it kind of a rare, like another tier of rare, and I kind of like that because having defined items, like, I feel like we played with that for a while, you know, like Diablo 2, for example. It's like Shaco. Like, okay, so in Project Diablo 2, you can at least get corruptions, right? So, you know, do you have a Shaco with extra PDR on it? Like, physical damage reduction? Do you have a Shaco with plus skills? Like, and these are some variants within the item. But in this scenario, it's like, you know, you drop a Shaco and it's got, you know, instead of +2 to all skills, it's got like +3 to druid skills. Or does it have +3 to barbarian skills? You know, stuff like that. You know, it's like very specific item now that can be good, but like it's like, what are you looking for? I don't know. I really like that. I'm just excited by that whole idea. No set items, not that I've seen so far, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but we'll take a look. Can't decide between making your chill effects freeze faster or more damaging ground effects for your freeze boots? No problem. Legendary affixes aren't restricted to a specific slot. I'm guessing with this sentence right here, I'm guessing that once you have a specific legendary affix, that it won't stack. That is, that's the thing that I'm kind of reading from this, but again, that's like kind of taking one step forward. Or one step too far. You'll notice a variety of affixes in our example above, including elemental resistances and socketing for gems and runes, which can appear on items in place of another affix. And of course, attack comes from weapon, while defense comes from your armor. With the increase of maximum number of affixes available on items, we'll also be adding new affixes to the game to make sure there's plenty of diversity. Good. Oh, what? What? Wait a minute. Wait, hold on. Okay. Uniques are making a comeback in a... Dude, I thought this was uniques, bro. I thought this was uniques. Okay. Unique items are making comeback in a big way in Diablo 4. We're embracing the fantasy of these build-around items with completely fixed affixes. Heavily thematic and usually class-specific powers and distinctive looks. Kid in a candy shop right now. Let's take a look. So we have Kilt of the Plague Bringer. Unique pants. Dude, I love these graphics. That adds like a certain depth to the game. Maximum life. Elite damage reduction. Reduced potion cooldown. +1 to rank, or +1 rank to hunt the weak. I'm guessing it's like a skill. Your poison no longer deals damage over time. Instead, 125% of the total damage is dealt to the target when your poison expires. Interesting. That's a big game changer. Interesting. Okay. Then we have Stormwalker's Cudgel. It's a unique mace. It's a fast weapon. Overpower chance. 13 stats. 16 melee. Attack speed. Cool. Hit effect. When Hurricane deals damage, there's a chance to automatically cast Tornado at the target for free. Oh, and they have like little things that say in here. They said a single scratch from the thorn of the plague rose meant certain death, but somehow It made him immune. Only him. The rest of the village wasn't so lucky. That's kind of cool. The little unique things. Like it came from somebody's like collection or something. An heirloom from the past that you found. Do not command the storm. It may hear your call, but it will answer how it pleases. Master Alento. Cool. Awesome. Cannot salvage. Okay, seeing this as well, cannot salvage, means like there's a crafting system. Limited one equipped. So you can only have one of these equipped. Let's take a look at the other one. We have unique chest armor. Mad Wolf's Glee. We got strength, life, dodge chance, damage reduction. Poison enemies hit by your lacerate or thrash. Instantly deal 25% of the remaining damage to all nearby enemies. %of the remaining damage. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. And then we got a socket here. Cool. He was not a victim of the curse. He sought it out. As his body changed from man to beast, his laughter never ceased. Tale of the warg nobleman. Excellent. Excellent. I like it. What do you guys think of this so far? Yeah, it looks like they're bringing back Diablo 3 salvage system, which could be good. Recycling things, I think, is a good thing, rather than just everything being gold. As long as they find a way to make gold valuable and, like, materials valuable. Because in Diablo 3, it's only materials. Gold doesn't mean a thing, really. I mean, it does, because, like, they use it to run rifts. And if you really want to empower every rift, then you can do that. But, you know, other than that, gold means nothing, basically. Which I don't necessarily like. And then there's Diablo 2, which is like, well, you can gamble with your gold. But the crafting system is kind of scuffed to some extent. On Tuesdays. It could be very... I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. Taking best of both worlds here is very good, in my opinion. Moving forward is learning what you got from both games and making your own thing from it is a good thing, in my opinion. 3 unique items available at level 20. A unique will always appear with the same affixes. Okay, cool. We still like the idea of mythic items. We don't want to create an item quality that invalidates all others. So they're out for now. One of the things that we loved most about them was the promise of getting random legendary powers on an item. So we folded that into our baseline legendary design. With the addition of the skills and passive tree, primary stat points, and changes to the items in Diablo 4, we can't wait to see all the builds you'll create. Maybe you'll focus on skills augmented by uniques we designed. Create something from scratch of different legendary affixes. Discover a creative pairing of primary skills with specific skills, or incorporate the odd, rare, or magic item to maximize a specific affix to great effect. Dude, that paragraph, bro. Insane. That's exciting. We're excited to read through the community feedback on the updates in this blog. As always, please remember that none of this is final, as the game is still actively in development. Your constructive discussions around these feature will continue to help Diablo 4, and we greatly appreciate your support and thoughts about the game. So continue working on itemization Diablo 4. Looking forward to see BlizzCon line next year. We have lots to share in 2021 regarding some of the other features, and we can't wait to tell you about them. Joe Shelley, or Joe Sheely. Lead game designer of Diablo 4. Dude. So let's do a quick overview of what we just talked about and what just happened. So most of this, the skill tree, they made kind of like better changes to the skill tree, so that way if you pick a skill, then it kind of branches off rather than being something that synergizes with your skill being on the other side of the tree. So it kind of like the stuff that you're looking for stays on the same side of the tree and kind of branches off from there as far as the skill tree. Then we have primary stats and skill points. Every time you level, having an effect, and levels are important for training the ability or skill or play style that you actually want. We also have like class specific attributes doing various things for like each class, which is really cool. We also have attributes affecting different like unlockables for skills that you're using. For example, Whirlwind had some unlockables if you put like X amount of strength or X amount of dexterity in. And same thing with Sorceress, doing X amount of willpower, you get a certain reward. As far as like itemization, honestly, like really good look so far. The idea of graphically like presenting all the items really allows for more depth in the game, I feel like. And the cosmetics become more visual and like in your face, so that way you can kind of see like what you found is like, you know, it's there. There's something more tangible with this, and I kind of like that a lot. There's also different speeds and rates at which certain items can work that'll best fit your playstyle and which you want to actually play. For example, like a wand versus a staff. Wand is faster. Generally, staves are slower but harder hitting. Itemization. There's, you know, white items, blue items, yellow items, or I should say, you know, base items, magic items, rare items, legendary items, and unique items so far. And ultimately, like, the magical items will have like bigger rolls but not as many affixes, you know, similar to like how in Diablo 2, where, you know, you can have a very strong attribute on one specific stat that can be better than any other item in the game, except it's very specific and that's all that it does. And then rare is a little bit more well-rounded, and then there's legendary items that have kind of like a, it's like next tier rare items where they have like specific attributes that roll in a legendary pool on items. And then there's also like unique items which roll the same way every single time with different like values. Overall, very happy to see this because the build diversity, as well as the utility of all items, and it sounds like from everything that we've seen here, a combination of your items and your skills and your decisions will make your character like powerful for what you actually want to play, rather than being like, I want to play a barbarian, but I have to be using these skills or these items. You know, it's like, it sounds like there's a lot more flexible ways to get specific things done. Also, they talked about respecs, and that was something very interesting to me, was the respecs that they had. Like, there's scaling respecs, so it's very easy to respec early on, and the longer you play and the more you invest in your character, the more that it's gonna have to take to invest into respecking. So that's really, really good. Overall, I'd say this is a really good update, and I'm very excited to see what's in the future at BlizzCon Line. Or BlizzCon Line, or whatever how you say it. Pre-respec D2 was super frustrating, absolutely. So early on, it's very easy to respec, and it's like the farther you go, the harder it is to respec. And I feel like that's best of both worlds, because, you know, you're getting a little bit of D3 in there with the ability to respec early on, a decent amount. But you're getting a little D3 or D2 in there because in the end game it costs X amount to go and get a respec. So this is cool. This is cool. I like this a lot. So anyways, thank you all for watching, guys. Definitely looking forward to see what happens in the future again with more Diablo 4 stuff. But thank you all for watching. You guys are beasts.